Hello, you beautiful souls, and welcome to the Inner Beauty Code podcast. I'm Rachele Fialco, your host. Such a pleasure to be here with you guys today. I cannot tell you how excited I am because I've been wanting to do this podcast for like 7-8 years, and I have been mulling over the idea of starting it and just, I guess, didn't have the courage to do it, or maybe it was just not the right timing until now. Anyway, let's get into it. So this is the first episode ever, and I wanted to tell you guys a little bit more about myself and also about the podcast and why I started it, and you guys can get to know me a little better. I have been known to be TMI, so giving too much information about myself and my life, which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but yeah, I'm pretty much an open book. So I will tell you that you guys are probably going to hear a lot of crazy stories about me and experiences I've had and experience I've heard about throughout my 38-year journey on this planet. And without further ado, let's get into this whole concept of inner beauty code. So what does this mean? I bet you guys are all wondering what the heck is an inner beauty code. So when thinking about the concept of this podcast, I wanted it to be something that really represented the beauty, the essence, and the individuality that I think is within each and every one of us, that is like that little unique spice and pretty much that authenticity that makes us different from everyone else, right? Like, what's that core code, that core makeup within us that makes us different from everyone, right? So my mom actually helped me come up with the name of this podcast, so thanks, Mama. I'll give you the credit for that. To explain Inner Beauty Code a little further, I figured I'd share with you guys a few of my inner beauty codes. So, numero uno is my ability to try new things. So, for example, in my 37th year, I decided, you know what? Today, I'm going to sign up for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It had been something that I'd been interested in and very intimidated by for a while, for years, ever since this guy that I was friends with in New York started doing it, and I would make fun of him because he was rolling around and putting his head in guys' crotches. Anyways, so I walked to this Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu studio in Jupiter, Florida. Shout out to my people at Gracie Baja there, and Professor Joe and Travis and all my friends. I miss you guys. It was one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life, and now I'm addicted to rolling around on smelly mats with smelly men, dripping sweat in my eyes. Blech. But it's one of the best decisions I've ever made. Jiu-Jitsu has brought so much to my life, and it was so unexpected, and I will do a whole episode, and I actually have a couple of interviews with some people from Jiu-Jitsu to share with you guys, to tell you all about that. But yeah, it was something that I walked in and tried and never imagined how much I would love it and how many amazing things have come out of that experience and having the courage to do that. So again, whether it takes me a year, 5 years, 10 years, if there's something that I see that I like that sticks with me, eventually I'll try it, or move on to something else that I try. I'm also a manifesting generator in human design, so that means I'm a multi-passionate person that likes to try different things, and from the outside it might look like I'm a little bit spazzy and inconsistent, but that's what I'm here to do, show other people not to be afraid to try new things. But I think that's one of mine. Another one is my capacity to love other people. I am such a lover. I try to be nice to everybody until they give me a reason not to be nice. But I don't know, I just really enjoy people, and I enjoy that interpersonal connection that I have with other people. So there's another. My emotional depth. I am deeper than the ocean, baby. That is another one of mine. Again, when connecting with people, I don't like talking about surface level shit, and I really like to get to know people. So I think that I'm very deep and I think a lot. And maybe that again is like, if we're talking about astrology, I have a Libra rising and Aquarius moon. So air sign, a lot of air energy there, which is all thinking. So another one of mine is my keen sense of observation. So ever since I can remember being a kid, I have really just been that weirdo that's always like watching everybody and watching people's behavior and trying to figure people out, and also learning from other people's mistakes and seeing, like, trying to figure out why people make the decisions that they make or why they do certain things that they do. And I can remember even as a kid, like being like, like that doesn't seem right, or I wouldn't have done that way. So anyways, I also think part of that, I have a sixth sense that is like a laser beam that just sees directly into somebody's soul, like sees the core of them. And despite the masks that they wear or what they try to present to the world, I think I can pick up on, maybe intuitively, people's feelings and emotions. I'm not a psychic, I'm not claiming that, but there's that. And I have two more people, so I'll make this fast. But my ability to go deep within myself and explore and heal and sit with what's there and work through it, despite the discomfort that comes along with that. So being able to process through my own shit and question myself. And I think that really, I guess it's a developing self-awareness. And last but not least, I think my last beauty code is my ability to accept people for who they are and not be judgmental, because you never really know what someone's going through. You don't see the world through the same lens that everyone else does. And I think everyone's only seeing the world out of their own lens and living in their own reality. So unless you're really like in someone's head, you don't really know why they're doing what they're doing. So I don't want to change people or try to change people. That's like really a waste of your energy, or to try to keep something in your life that's not meant to be there. I'm kind of just like, okay, you do you, and I'm going to do me over here. And anytime my friends come to me with something crazy or whatever, I'm pretty non-judgmental. So if that gives you guys an idea of what I mean by inner beauty code, kind of get the wheels spinning inside your own mind, thinking about what yours might be, DM me and let me know what you guys think, or if you come up with any on your own. Next, I figured I should define what inner beauty is to me. If you're not aware of this by now, I am a professional makeup artist and I have been for over 10 years. And inner beauty to me is not just drinking green smoothies and green juices and going and get a spa day with your friends. It's much deeper than that. And for me, inner beauty is what's in your heart. It is, again, your core essence, and developing what's there to become beautiful on the inside and on the outside by doing the work on yourself to kind of peel back those layers and let go of things that are not yours to hang on to. And inner beauty is that. And you know, that in combination with your beliefs and whether or not you're willing to own your shit. So when you're able to cultivate that connection within, it's so important to do so, because you're able to take responsibility for your mental, emotional, and physical well-being and not be the victim of your life and not project your shit onto other people. It's when you're doing that as well, you're able to figure out, you know, who you are, what you want, and what your passions are. I know so many people who are disconnected from passion and purpose in life, and it's a really tough place to be. So I think it all starts with developing that inner world. And I think once you are able to do that and take a step towards your dreams or step in the direction of something that you want, God, the universe, life will meet you there and bring the opportunities to you or open doors or take you in a direction that'll bring you closer to your dreams. And you don't always know how that's going to happen. So again, when you start to focus your attention inward and really develop that connection, you're able to also tune out the voices of other people and the opinions of other people that can distract us or confuse us along the way from what we want or where we're trying to go. On my own journey, I've gone through so many transformations, and I feel like I've lived so many lives in my short time in 38 years and have learned so much and just evolved so much. And it may not seem like it from the outside, but I have had to battle a lot of my own demons and really look at the good, the bad, and the not so pretty things within me. And I can tell you that I've struggled with my weight, insecurities about how I look, and being just not at home in my own body. There are times in my life in the past where I have just felt like trapped by my own body, not being able to express myself the way that I want to, or being able to be the person that I want, because I had so many things that were blocking me, that were almost like maybe subconscious as well, that were preventing me from, I knew what I wanted to do, but preventing me from getting there and becoming that person. I have as well felt like I did not know what my purpose was. Why was I here on this earth? Like, not in a, I want to die kind of way, but kind of just like, well, what am I doing here? Why am I here? If I have no purpose and I don't know what I'm doing, I'm not helping other people, I'm not doing anything amazing or becoming super successful, then like, what's the point of me, being here? Maybe I need to go to another planet or do something else. I still struggle with imposter syndrome all the time, and you guys are witnessing me push through that right now with this podcast. I have had to go to lots of therapy. I, for example, used to have really terrible, I do have performance anxiety still, but social anxiety as well. Like, there are times where I would show up to a dinner with a group of people that I didn't know and would be just so out of place and just didn't know what to do, just being so freaked out and having so much anxiety over that. And I've worked through that, thank God, and don't feel that way anymore, but it was really paralyzing. And being just disconnected from myself and lacking self-assuredness, feeling like, I guess, low self-worth almost, in a way that it's just like, I just don't feel good about myself. So I'm saying all these things because I know that I'm not alone when feeling those things, because I know there are many other people out there that struggle with this as well. I know so many women that do. We've had these discussions many times. And by doing all this work on myself, I've been able to gain so many tools and have had so many great experiences that ultimately enabled me to become a more upgraded, more self-assured, more confident, and more evolved version of myself. And younger versions of me would be so proud of where I've come. And all the time I'm always checking in with myself to make sure that I appreciate how far I've come, because we're our own worst critic, and we can totally be so down on ourselves and not remember that we have actually really come far compared to where we were. And even in the darkest times, there's always a light at the end of the tunnel if you just keep going. And life is not a straight road. It's a winding, curvy, up and down, hilly, rocky road. And eventually you are going to have to learn how to pivot and surrender to the unknown and embrace change. So those are lessons that I've learned that have been very helpful to me to navigate through all this shit. I've had a quarter life crisis, have changed careers several times, from working in the music industry for 6 years to becoming a makeup artist. Now I am in London, left my whole life in America to come to London to study my master's and just completely start over. I'm developing a whole friend group and having to just plug into new communities, and I'm happy I did it. I'm happy I moved, but you don't realize when you get these great ideas or you're being led or pulled in a direction and you follow it, when your gut's telling you, hey, this is right for us, this is right for us, let's go do this, and you get there and you realize, oh shit, I still have to deal with some shit that I don't want to deal with over here as well. But anyways, life just takes you in all kinds of crazy directions, but being open to it and surrendering to whatever comes your way is key. There's a quote that has stuck with me ever since I heard it, and it goes, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. And this has stuck with me so long because there are so many times in my life, or there are several times, a handful of times, I remember when someone came into my life and they were the catalyst of change and maybe didn't even know it or realize it at the time. And maybe I met them and years later I ended up doing something based upon a conversation that I had with these people, and your life goes in a totally different direction that you never imagined. And those times in your life require you to be open to it as well. And I think me moving to London right now was one of those times. And, last summer I spent a lot of time here and I just kept feeling like, man, I could really live here. I could really live here. And it seemed like a wild, crazy idea at the time, but something just kept telling me maybe I should move to London. I really think I should move to London. And I've always wanted to study psychology. So getting my master's in psychology in London was never something I imagined would happen for me. And here I am. So yeah, living and traveling around the world and being a makeup artist has allowed me to develop so many amazing friendships and relationships with so many awesome women and men too, but mostly women out there. And one thing I realized, no matter what you look like, how much money you make, where you come from, what you do for work, what your purpose is currently in life, whether that's being a mom or you have a career or you're saving the world, everybody struggles with very similar things. And whether you're a gorgeous model or a teacher working at an elementary school, we all go through shit. And one time I remember something that really hit me. And all these things I'm telling you guys right now are reasons why I started this podcast and kind of led me to this point. So there was a time when I was working in New York and I was assisting on, I don't know, some kind of magazine shoot. Maybe it was for Vogue or Elle or something like that. And I was talking to one of the models and I remember thinking in my head, wow, her body's perfect, she's beautiful, she's making all this money being a model, gets to travel, must be living a life, must have men just throwing themselves at her, and must have all these great guys because she's beautiful and nice and whatever. And I remember her telling me the struggles that she was having with her relationship, and I was just like, oh my God, that was me. I've been there before too. And it made me realize, I think at the time I was just struggling with my own worth and my own value. So it was really eye-opening to see that just because she had everything on the outside that looked amazing does not mean that she doesn't have any problems or wasn't dealing with things that I was dealing with. So it was a pivotal moment for me to realize how important it was to also pay attention to and develop that internal world, because again, no matter what's going on the outside, if you're not solid within yourself, anything on the outside is going to be able to rattle you. And going back to struggling with relationships, I think other people are kind of reflecting back to you where you are in life and what you have worked through. And if you think about the evolution of relationships, for example, one of the reasons I've been going to therapy for over 2 years consistently, like every week, I noticed that I was seeing the same pattern in relationship pop up for me, that I was attracting unavailable men, right? So I met this guy, and I don't know what about him just magnified every insecurity that I've ever had. And I remember thinking, like, what the fuck? I thought I dealt with all this stuff. And it really, again, meeting him has set my life on a path to like heal a lot of stuff within me that I was still holding on to, and being able to work through all the shit that I thought that I was done with and that I had looked at and didn't, brought me to being able to use my voice and be here and have the courage to show up and do this podcast. So I recently have had a really terrible breakup. I don't know why. It was the worst, most devastating, heartbreaking experience for me. It was. I don't know why, again, when I worked through all my shit, why am I still dealing with this? But my therapist has some theories that she's told me about. I'm not going to get into that now, but even including this guy having this crazy stalker who started stalking me and still does. Maybe I'll share about that another time. My ex might kill me, so probably not. But sometimes in life throws you curveballs. Again, I thought moving to London, like I was starting over, didn't expect that to happen, but it's all about how you deal with things, right? It's all about how you take responsibility for your part, for your own emotions, and not try to make someone else responsible for that. And I learned a lot. Like this experience with him was just another reminder of everything that I just said, especially seeing how this other woman still is doing really disturbing, insane things when a guy doesn't want you in his life. I mean, it's wild, and it makes me think if you stop focusing your attention out there on other people and start putting it on yourself, it will save you a lot of heartache, save you a lot of chaos, and save you a lot of drama and unnecessary, pain to yourself and everybody else that you're involving in it. So it's imperative that you basically take responsibility for yourself, your own emotions. It'll save you a lot of heartache and a lot of time, wasting time and energy on feeling bad and hurting. Like, obviously it's still going to hurt, and you shouldn't ignore your feelings. You should sit with them, but it makes it a lot easier to move through them and move past it and be able to continue on with your life. Like this podcast, it happened right before I was trying to launch this, so I had to push it back a little bit, and other things delayed this podcast, but I kept pushing through. And thank God there's plenty of fish in the sea, because sometimes you just need to find a bigger, very sexy, less complicated horse to get back on and ride, ladies, because it's going to be okay. Moving forward, shit happens that you can't control, and it's how you deal with it that makes all the difference in life, to see how long you will put yourself on hold and put your life on hold before dealing with it, or allowing it to throw a monkey wrench in your life when it's unnecessary. And my whole point with making this podcast is we're going to be talking about all kinds of shit. It's not going to be all drama. I just wanted you guys to know a little bit about my history and about my life and just things that I've gone through. I just scratched the surface with those stories, but I've done a lot of work on myself, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, through therapy. I've tried everything from plant medicine to mindset coaching, from astrology to exercise, everything to work through stuff. And I do breath work. I'm a Kundalini and Vinyasa yoga teacher, and there's many ways for you guys to move through stuff. You just have to be open to it. And I have met some really incredible women along my journey that not only will we be finding out about my life and what I've learned, but I've also met some women that have really inspired me, have really taught me a lot, and I'm going to be sharing the conversations that I've had with them. I've interviewed a bunch of women so far, and you guys are going to love what they have to say. They have so much information. One of my friends is a clinical dietitian. We talked all about female hormones and hormone health, and another friend of mine does mindset, lifestyle, and physical wellness, and so many cool people. Well, more to come on that. So my goal here in creating this podcast is to create a safe community where women can come and share experiences and connect and know that they're not alone on their journey, because sometimes life can be very lonely, or you feel like you're going through shit that nobody will understand. Well, I'm here to tell you that we do. We understand. And you can find that safe little space here. In each episode, we are going to dive deep into what makes people tick. My favorite topics we're going to talk about, which are human behavior, psychology, emotional wellness, relationships, of course. Most people love talking about relationships, except for men. Spirituality, yoga, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, astrology, and living a soul-led life, and beyond. So many things. And if you've ever struggled with confidence, comparison, or just lacking purpose, this podcast is for you, because we've got something for everyone, and we've got so many amazing tools to share for you guys to be able to work through those challenges. Another thing is I want to help you guys rewrite your life script, because I've done it with my life so many times. And if you've known me for a while, you know how crazy I am. And I just try new things and have started my life over and moved around just whenever I felt like it was necessary. And, you know, trusting that gut feeling has never led me astray. And trusting my intuition has always brought me so much in life, and I think everybody should experience that. And when you're able to pursue your dreams fearlessly and find that inner strength, just like I have, life becomes so much more fun. And part of me started this podcast because I have friends and have met women along the way who are struggling to find purpose and find connection. They're in their 30s and 40s and just looking for a passion and belonging, whether they're a mom and they just feel like they don't have anything of their own and they struggle to find that. I am here to show you how, guys. Follow my lead. I'll show you the ways. So if you are a woman that is in your 30s or 40s and just looking for deeper connection to yourself, to others, to ignite the passion within you that's going to make you excited to get up every day, or maybe you just need something new to try, this is the place for you, because we're going to be delivering lots of inspiration and helping you guys really get to a place of freedom from within that is unlike anything else you've ever experienced. Trust me, I know it. Once you start building your self-worth and your self-confidence within, you build a foundation that is so solid that it is unshakable, and you don't have to worry so much anymore. I mean, it's not perfect science here, but you are less reactive to things that come at you from the outside. And I really think that your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. And once you start working on yourself, things on the outside really do seem less difficult or less challenging when they come at you. And I think that developing this self-acceptance, this self-confidence has given me the greatest freedom that I have ever felt. And nobody can take that away from you. And when you stop seeking external validation and putting your worth on things that are external, that are always changing, that, again, societal standards are always changing, and what's cool and what's not, and what's in and what's out, like, how can you keep up with that? You can't build your self-worth on that. And it's not all about what's going on the outside. It's what's within and building that connection inside that is going to help you guys be so solid within yourself that, nothing that comes at you is going to shake you. Thank you guys for tuning into the Inner Beauty podcast. I hope you stay tuned and come back for all the exciting guests that I have on here and all the exciting stuff we're going to talk about. If there are any topics that you guys are interested in hearing about or would like me to explore, don't hesitate to DM me at the Inner Beauty Code on Instagram, and I will get back to you. Hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode of inspiration and empowerment.